many people, they're thinking that QC department is like policeman and they're trying to find somebody and penalized a lot of people around, but it's not our goal.
I hope that cleared things up for some of our viewers and some of our partners that you are not the police and you're just trying to assist in the loan process.
If LTV over 80%, so we consider this file as high risk loan and we review this file with deep review. We dive in and do almost all underwriting on our side. Usually you don't need to know about us.
Hi everyone, Serena Diaco here, and welcome back to the Digest by A&D Mortgage, your trusted source for insights into the mortgage industry. Today, we're exploring the part of the loan process that many don't fully see, but every successful closing depends on it, QC and post-closing. To help us break it all down, we're joined by Daria, QC and post-closing manager at A&D Mortgage. From compliance checks to final delivery, Daria's team plays a critical role in making sure every loan is clean, complete, and ready for purchase. We've seen your questions about trailing conditions, third-party reviews, and what really happens after docs are signed. And today's episode is built to answer all of that. Let's dive in. Hi, Daria. Thank you for being here today.
Hi, Serena. Nice to be here.
So before we dive in, you're here representing quality control, QC, and post-closing. We kind of want to know a little bit about the process of QC and post-closing and when they come into process. Can you give us a brief overview?
So in general, QC and post-closing department, we have the main goal to get our files in good quality and be in line with all regulations and guidelines in mortgage industry. At QC department, we review the files. Sometimes it's deep review, sometimes it's light review, and at post-closing it's light review, and time to time we send, depends on the file, we send these files to due diligence and they're doing their job and their review from their side.
Sure. Are there a couple things that the QC team looks for to catch, maybe, before we get CTC?
Yeah, of course. Depends on the program, depends on the conditions on the files, depends on the quality of the file, like LTV, loan amount. So it depends on these factors. We consider a limited review or full review. And based on these parameters, we are doing some verification QC stage.
What kind of conditions specifically can trigger that full review or that limited?
For example, if LTV over 80%, so we consider this file as high risk loan and we review this file with deep review. So we dive in and do almost all underwriting on our side. For example, also, if we got new senior underwriters, we try to monitor them for a while, for example, some period of time, and make sure that they produce very good quality of the loans. And after some point, we start to review them on the same basis like all other underwriters.
Everyone's goal is to get CTC, of course, ours and our partners. But what is one way we can maybe eliminate the back and forth? And what is one way our partners can kind of help us, help the QC team get things cleared?
I believe I have the same answer like underwriters and all other departments. So as fast as brokers or correspondent lender provide us documentation and answer on our questions, so that means that we're gonna do fast our side of work. My suggestion for correspondent lenders and brokers: do not contact QC department directly. If you see QC conditions, you need to contact senior underwriters or underwriter one who is responsible for such condition, like for example, if it's an appraisal review, so you need to contact underwriter one to make sure that you provide some correct documentation, correct information, and they're gonna verify if it's eligible to proceed with the file. And QC, of course, from our side, we just re-review the documents and approve the condition from QC.
I feel that maybe a lot of our partners, maybe, I don't want to say dislike the QC team, but they have like a negative view of it. Why do you think this misunderstanding exists?
For many people in mortgage industry, in internal in our company, right, they're thinking that QC department is like policeman, and they're trying to find somebody and penalized a lot of people around, but it's not our goal. Our goal to make sure that our quality of the loans is good and we can sell these files on secondary market.
I hope that cleared things up for some of our viewers and some of our partners, that you are not the police and you're just trying to assist in the loan process. Once a loan closes, let's jump into post-closing a little bit. You know, post-closing team steps in, and what do they do?
We jump on the file once it's funded, and we have some checklist on our side, and it depends if it's wholesale loan, we have one kind of checklist, and if it's a correspondent loan, we have another checklist. And we do, on wholesale loans, we do slight review of the loans, and at correspondent side, of course, we are doing a little bit deeper verification, since we don't have disclosure stage on our side as a lender, right? We don't have a closing department, so we have to verify all these documents at post-closing stage. So we are doing a little bit deeper review. And after, once our review is done, we send these files to due diligence. Some of them we send directly to investors. Some of them we send before investors to our due diligence firm. And due diligence, they're doing the underwriting, full underwriting.
In your experience, can our partners ever expect to hear from post-closing? And if they do, what would be the reason?
Yeah, again, for wholesale and for correspondent channels, it's a little bit different. For wholesale loans, it's very rare once we can contact brokers on the loan, only in cases where we need to get additional documentation from our borrower or some letter of explanation from borrower again. On correspondent lenders side, we contact a lot correspondent lenders. We can request additional documentation or corrections of existing documents, and yeah, we try to communicate very closely with them.
So Daria, you mentioned third-party due diligence. How do you or your team decide when a party goes through this, or a loan?
All non-QM loans we send to due diligence firm, no matter is it a correspondent file or wholesale file, we send to due diligence firm, and they do the underwriting. All conventional FHA loans we send directly to investors, and investors, they do their due diligence. And for government loans, we have a little bit different procedure. We have due diligence firm as well. Because it's per regulation, we have to do it. And we have to send to due diligence firm for government loans only 10% of our pool of all loans. And they do selection from their side, and they check it. And of course, they send us some condition on the files.
Daria, you know, we have quality control. When does it happen? And do our partners know that it's happening?
Oh, yeah, good question. We have a lot of questions like this from our account executives and brokers. So basically, our process is structured this way that brokers and account executives, they don't need to know about QC person. So we jump on the file in parallel with underwriters, and like usually you don't need to know about us. You can understand that we exist only if you got some conditions from QC side, or if you go to contact list, yeah, and you will see QC person over there. So we are jumping on the file once we have 5 or less broker-facing conditions. So it's we have a little bit gap between CTC and this time, and we have enough time to prepare the loan and review from QC side.
Very smooth, and I feel that that has really streamlined the process. Just coming from an account executive where things were different previously,
Right.
I mean, it's so smooth now. Like now we can actually obtain CTC when we're ready for it. You know,
Right,
it gives
right.
us those couple days of time to adjust if there's anything that QC needs at all. And if not, it's like automatically underwriter 1 or senior able to CTC alone. It doesn't say QC pending conditions anymore. You know how we used to have the status? If you could give our partners and our correspondent partners any bit of advice to help working with QC post-closing just a little better and smoother, what would you suggest or advise?
I suggest to provide all documentation right away. And also maybe to provide documentation in advance. If you have already everything on your hands, so just upload the file and we review it in advance and speed up the process of QC or post-closing department. Yeah, and maybe have some due diligence on your own. For example, with your processor, just slight review of documentation or some basic information like borrower name, maybe address, and if everything is correct, just upload to the system.
Thank you so much, Daria, for being here. I appreciate learning about the QC and post-closing process.
Thank you that you are so welcome here.
Huge thanks to Daria for shedding light on what happens after a clear to close and how our partners can stay ahead of delays and conditions. We'll leave you with a quick question. Do you feel confident about what happens after funding, or is post-closing still a bit of a mystery? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with your team. Until next time, take care, stay informed, and let's continue growing together.